this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Support for the show comes from Public, the investing platform for those who take it seriously. On Public, you can build a multi-asset portfolio of stocks, bonds, options, crypto, and now generated assets, which allow you to turn any idea into an investable index with AI. It all starts with your prompt. From renewable energy companies with high free cash flow to semiconductor suppliers growing revenue over 20% year over year, you can literally type any prompt and put the AI to work. It screens thousands of stocks, builds a one-of-a-kind index, and lets you backtest it against the S&P 500. Then you can invest in a few clicks. Generated assets are like ETFs with infinite possibilities, completely customizable and based on your thesis, not someone else's. Go to public.com/podcast and earn an uncapped 1% bonus when you transfer your portfolio. That's public.com/podcast. Paid for by Public Investing. Brokerage services by Open to the Public Investing Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services by Public Advisors LLC, SEC registered advisor. Generated assets is an interactive analysis tool. Output is for informational purposes only and is not an investment recommendation or advice. Complete disclosures available at public.com/disclosures.
Tired of spills and stains on your sofa? Wash away your worries with Anabay. Anabay is the only machine washable sofa inside and out, where designer quality meets budget-friendly prices. That's right, sofas start at just $699. Enjoy a no-risk experience with pet-friendly, stain-resistant, and changeable slip covers made with performance fabric. Experience cloud-like comfort with high-resilience foam that's hypoallergenic and never needs fluffing. The sturdy steel frame ensures longevity, and the modular pieces can be rearranged anytime. Shop WashableSofas.com for up to 60% off site-wide, backed by a 30-day satisfaction guarantee. If you're not absolutely in love, send it back for a full refund. No return shipping or restocking fees. Every penny back. Upgrade now at WashableSofas.com. Offers are subject to change, and certain restrictions may apply.
Pro drivers live for race day, but for small business owners, every day is race day. That's why going pro with Lenovo Pro matters. One-on-one advice, IT solutions, and customized hardware powered by Intel Core Ultra processors keep your business on the right track. Business goes pro with Lenovo Pro. Sign up for free at lenovo.com/pro.
Lenovo.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents. So when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it comes to making an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the one you'll call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Hello, friends! I'm Robert Evans, and this is once again Behind the Bastards, the show where we tell you everything you don't know about the very worst people in all of history. Today we're talking about the worst people in all of history, the Nazis. Or rather, we're talking about how Nazism and fascism got started in America way, way back in the day. And my guest with me for this debatably topical podcast episode, Cody Johnston, Katy Stoll. How are y'all doing today?
Well,
Great.
you know, living in a fascist country, you know?
Well, I mean, 30% of the way there.
Getting there. It's like,
like
we've got time.
It's the national equivalent of when I was a kid and I would get a new video game and I would start installing it and I would know it was going to take like 3 hours because my computer wasn't that great. But it's like, it's on its way.
Right.
It's not.
So you find something else to do to sort of distract you, but you also keep going in to check in. Like, is it done yet? Is it done yet?
Exactly. We're doing the national equivalent of watching Starship Troopers for the 37th time while we wait for Age of Empires 3 to download.
And then half the country watches Starship Troopers 2 and is like, this is a good idea for society. I like this.
I really like that you picked Starship Troopers 2. Right. Oh, sorry. You were saying TOO. I was thinking about the classic sequel to Starship Troopers 2.
I also
Starship
thought that
Troopers
too.
2. Fine film.
Fine film.
Yeah, so that's what it's like.
Yeah. So have y'all ever wondered what the very first American fascism was like, how it got here? Like, was it a kind of thing of like, it got imported from Europe, or like, did it boil up naturally? Like,
I assumed it's like, I mean, the KKK was one
Yeah.
of the first
Sure, you could say
fascist
that. Yeah,
groups,
it's kind of a
probably.
proto-fascist group.
I always
Yeah.
just assumed it was a natural evolution of our shittiness.
Yeah, and I
but-
know like the Nazis crafted a lot of their policies on some American policies.
Yeah.
and-
I mean, that was more like they got the idea for how to set up the Zyklon B gas chambers from, like, in El Paso. We have for people coming in from Mexico, a station to delouse them. And the Nazis were like, oh, with a couple modifications, you could just kill people in this thing. Yeah,
Wasted
yeah.
opportunity
what if we
there.
change the word delouse
To
to
just, yeah. So this is more about ideology in sort of how fascism, how it first crept up in America. So if y'all will indulge me.
Yeah, fascism
With
loves
pleasure.
to creep up.
Yeah, it sure
It's
does.
a creeper.
All right, I'm going to read you guys 20 pages of
Awesome.
stuff.
A horror story.
In 1921, 12 years before Adolf Hitler would become Germany's all-powerful Führer, the National Socialist German Workers' Party had roughly 2,000 members. So it's a well-established fact that fascism can rise to dominate a democratic nation from relatively humble beginnings. Keep that in mind as we talk about the birth of the American fascist movement in the United States, because more than anything, this is a story about how close the USA came to going down Germany's path. The first fascist government on Earth was formed in late 1922 when Benito Mussolini and his black shirts marched on Rome with the stated goal of bringing order to an Italy that seemed on the verge of political chaos and collapse.
Oh,
Interesting.
King Victor Emmanuel allowed Benito to form a government, and fascists around the world were electrified by the seeming endorsement of their quirky little belief system. And you got to remember when we talk about this, fascism wasn't like now 75 million people died, and so we're like, oh boy, that's not something to try
Right at that
again.
point, they're like, oh, fascism.
Fascism. Maybe this works.
I don't know. I feel these things.
Yeah.
So like, what's
It would be nice if just one angry guy could do everything.
Right.
Could hurt all the people I hate.
and
That seems efficient.
Yeah.
I will not bother
good.
imagining the logical conclusion of these beliefs.
Yeah.
But I'm into it.
So, like pizza and the chef kiss gesture,
Oh, yeah.
fascism first came to America courtesy of the Italians. Or at least the first fascist group in America was formed by Italian Americans. They started organizing in New York and Philadelphia mainly in 1921, which is, when Mussolini's party had started to gain power in Italy, but before they were totally in charge. Mussolini's government was instantly more interested in using the fascist movement in America to further Italian foreign policy goals. He didn't seem to care much about actually bringing up fascism in the USA. Dogs get angry when you talk about fascism. It's because they're good.
Rightfully so.
In 1924, Mussolini sent Count Ignazio Theon di Revel to the United States to organize several disparate and quarrelsome groups of Italo-fascists into the Fascist League of North America.
Oh.
Yeah, cool. This is the first American fascist organization. These guys primarily positioned themselves as against, quote, atheism, internationalism, free love, communism, and class hatred.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will not comment on any similarities to any sort of ideology.
no.
We can save that for later.
Yeah, we'll do that again. So now 1924 was a kind of a banner year in fascism. It was also the year Hitler spent in prison, putting the finishing touches on Mein Kampf. And it was the year that the National Socialist Teutonia Association was founded in Detroit, Michigan. So the first American Nazis, Detroit!
Wow.
Shout out to Detroit. Not
Hey,
a
Detroit.
positive, like an angry, like Detroit, like that kind
Yeah,
of
like I'm
shout
shouting out, Detroit!
Into the
Detroit.
sky, yeah.
Not super surprising.
No.
No, I
No,
mean...
nothing so far super surprising.
Yeah. Now, the NSTA pledged open support of the German Nazi Party. Most of its members were recent immigrants to America from Germany, actual Nazis who'd fled in the wake of the beer hall putsch, so they wouldn't go to prison for trying to overthrow the German government. The NSTA was mainly a way to raise funds for Hitler's Nazi Party from sympathetic German Americans. So at this point, neither of the actual growing fascist movements in Germany or Italy was interested in trying to convert Americans to fascism. When the Italian FLNA proved troublesome, Mussolini's government ordered it disbanded in 1929, leaving its 12,500 members and 80 branch offices to find some other reactionary political organization. Good news, there's about to be a ton. Yeah. I know I could see you were worried about that.
Wide-eyed waiting for that.
Now, European fascists were actually something of a hindrance to the early efforts of American fascist thinkers and activists to organize. In 1931, as the Nazi Party crept into power in Germany, their Foreign Office formed an official Nazi Party branch in New York City, and at the same time dissolved the NSTA in order to create Gauleitung USA, or District Headquarters USA. So the Teutonia Association folded, and Gau USA was briefly the home of American Nazism. But as Hitler gained absolute power, it became clear to the Nazis that the existence of an American Nazi Party was not helpful to their goals. It kind of made them look like an evil empire based, on world domination.
I When you put it like that, I can see why they'd be concerned.
You might
about
be suspicious
that.
about the Nazis. Yeah.
Smart cookies.
They weren't dumb. But they were about some things.
Yeah.
About like giving coats to their soldiers and
Sure.
stuff.
They're effective in their goals.
They were good at in 1933. They were firing on all cylinders.
We all have our strengths.
Yeah.
So
Now, in 1933, the German Nazi Party had GAU USA declared defunct and opened up the Friends of Germany. Its goals would be to build support for the Third Reich in the U.S. and to spread Nazi propaganda, but not to bring Nazism to the United States in any organized way. The worldwide depression is often credited with the rise of the Nazi Party in Germany, although the extent to which that's true is kind of debatable. It definitely had an impact on the spread of fascist thought in Europe and in the United States. The first truly American fascist intellectual was a man named Lawrence Dennis. Now, he started out as a child evangelist who attended Harvard as a young man and worked briefly in the Foreign Service before working as a journalist for the New Republic and The Nation. In 1932, in the depth of the Depression, he wrote his first book, Is Capitalism Doomed? Lawrence worried that it was, and that the void left by its absence would be filled by something tremendously destructive, like communism. Readers of Dennis's first book walked away with the distinct impression that fascism would be preferable to communism, since the choice was inevitable. Yeah.
I love how, and especially today, you talk to people and you hear people discuss these things. They're like, if you had to choose between fascism and socialism, you'd choose fascism. But you can't say it out loud. But it's true. You would.
No. You can look at, like, USSR versus Tsarist Russia. Obviously, a lot of horrible things done by the USSR, but also for most of the people in it, probably better than life in Tsarist Russia. Then you look at Nazi Germany versus the Weimar Republic.
Right.
One was better than the other.
Why would I bother looking at those things?
Okay. So the Friends of Germany recruited 5,000 members from between 1933 and 1935. This made them comparable in size to the American Communist Party at the same time. But the Friends of Germany also drew negative attention from U.S. Congress for its armed division, the OD, and for the fact that many of its members were German nationals living in the United States. The German government quickly folded and ordered all its citizens to leave the Friends of New Germany. The organization was dissolved in 1936 and absorbed by another organization, the German-American Bund. Now, this is the one that people have heard of.
Yes, I have heard of the Bund.
Yeah. Now, the Bund was led by Fritz Julius Kuhn, a German-born man who'd fought for the Kaiser in World War I and fought for the Nazis in the streets prior to Hitler's rise to power. He'd moved to Mexico in 1923 and then moved to the United States. Fritz Kuhn had joined the Friends of New Germany in 1933 and become a citizen in 1934. So the Bund was not officially a fascist organization. Their stated purpose was to build support for Nazi Germany in the USA. A description for a pro-America rally they hosted notes that, quote, the Bund is opposed to all isms in American public life, including Nazism and fascism, regarding these political systems as affairs of the people who live under them, supported as they are by upward of 95% of the electors in nationwide plebiscites, but impracticable and inexpedient innovations in the American system of government. People really love fascism, but we're not fans of fascism. We're not advocating it, but people are happy with it.
But trust us, yeah.
A lot of people are saying,
a lot of people are saying it's the best kind of government. Not us.
Not
but
us,
a
no
lot of
way.
people.
But a lot of people, and there are fine people on all sides.
Yeah. You didn't have to squint hard to see Nazism in the Bund's messaging. Quote, the Bund opposes Zionism as an infectious disease gnawing at the core of American political, social, and economic life, covering an ever-widening field of activities which have already developed a power of American life which cannot be shaken off as long as Jews control the press, the radio, the screen, and the stage.
That feels pretty explicit.
That feels a little Nazi, doesn't it?
That's, I would say that's more than a little
Just a
Nazi.
smidge fashy.
Yeah.
oh, no.
Now, 1936, the year the Bund was founded, was the year of another American fascist landmark. Lawrence Dennis published his second book, The Coming American Fascism. His basic argument was that fascism was preferable to communism and the Depression had proved that capitalism could not possibly continue. Most of his arguments had to do with economics and the fact that he felt the current debt-based state of the global economy was unsustainable. I found a review of his book published in Foreign Affairs magazine. It stated simply, the author of Is Capitalism Doomed repeats his conviction that fascism is coming and that it will do good. Not a great prediction. Historically, didn't quite work out that way.
But definitely a prediction.
But a prediction.
So, let's give him credit for saying
putting
words
something
out
out there?
loud. Yeah.
Yeah,
He did
no.
say some words.
He's just tossing things on the wall, and if they stick, well, a lot of people are going to die.
A lot of people, tens of millions will be burned alive. Lawrence grew more and more renowned. He booked speaking engagements all around the country, talked at colleges, and published journals advocating an end to capitalist democracy. One left-wing paper at the time described him as, quote, the tall, swarthy prophet of intellectual fascism.
Okay.
As Lawrence Dennis's example shows, American fascism was not exported by foreign powers. It actually grew far too quickly for the Italian fascist and Nazi parties to even manage. In 1933, a former Hollywood screenwriter named William Dudley Pelley founded the Silver Legion of America, the first explicitly fascist and truly American organization.
Wow.
And yeah, Pelley was a pretty good pick for an American Hitler. If you're looking for a guy who's kind of similar and tries to do the same thing, he's a pretty solid pick. He had been a moderately successful screenwriter in Hollywood and made the modern equivalent of about $1.5 million for the various films that he'd written. He'd earlier spent time as a war correspondent in Russia and had developed a tremendous fear of the Bolsheviks along with a profoundly anti-Semitic worldview. All this made him feel guilty about his life of excess in Hollywood's golden era. On May 29th, 1928, he had a profound religious experience. Here's a quote from the wonderful book, Hitler's American Friends, that inspired part of this podcast. Quote, he experienced a vision of being whisked away through a bluish mist. He regained consciousness lying on a marble slab next to two men who began to reveal the secrets of the universe. Among these was the revelation that death was only temporary and that all human beings are reincarnated to proceed up a ladder to higher existence. Even more important, Pelley reported, the men told him that he would receive additional revelations in the future. Claiming himself to have been reborn, Pelley declared that when he woke up the next morning, his physical appearance had changed. Lines had disappeared from his face and he appeared more relaxed. The great release, as Pelley called it, put his life on a new course.
I mean, that sounds like Buddhist or something. Like
Yeah.
having some sort of an epiphany where,
I'm excited for him.
I'm excited for that inner peace that he's found.
I feel like this is going to go good directions.
Yeah.
Let's read the next paragraph.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
He opened a spiritualist journal and gained more than 10,000 subscribers eager to read his opinions on automatic writing and clairvoyance. Most of his followers at this point were women, and their donations supported the opening of Galahad Press in 1931. His anti-Semitism and paranormal beliefs gradually coalesced into a thoroughly American kind of fascism. The Silver Legion was formed in the hopes that it would sweep American politics, and they were called the Silver Legion because they wore silver shirts with a big L on them that stood for, I think, loyalty and life and legion. And here's a picture of these guys. They all look like Gavin McGinnis if he shaved his beard.
They sure do.
It's just replace the L with a pocket protector.
Nothing ever changes.
Nothing ever
changes.
My goodness.
Pelley's goal was a new fascist state where all property was held by the government and every citizen was a stockholder in the nation. This would guarantee everyone a healthy basic income that would rise if they did things to help the state, like serve in the military. Only white citizens could own stock in the United States.
Sure.
Black Americans would be re-enslaved in order to provide the free labor Pelley system needed to
Oh
work.
my God. I gotta tell you,
Such an immediate turn.
how does he not realize that's taking him down the ladder? He's going away from his growth.
It's like, oh yeah, basic income. That's a thing that might be. Oh no!
He's a slow creep of fascism.
That's a real.
It's slow throughout the 3 sentences in that paragraph.
Man.
Re-enslaved is not
No.
Such a matter of fact tossing that out there.
Oh, we're not done.
Oh, good.
Pelley called his dream of a new nation the Christian Commonwealth, and he described its financial system as Christian economics. He saw Jewish people as the main obstacle to this dream. When the Commonwealth was established, Pelley said, a secretary of Jewry would be appointed to restrict Jewish people to a single city per state.
grumble.
So this is a very American, it's fascism, but it's very clearly on similar lines to what Hitler's saying, but it is also in a lot of ways a very different and much more American sort of, and very much based around white identity kind of fascism. So this is the first autochthonic fascism that we have in the United States, the first time it arises from within us as opposed to just Germans and Italians.
Right, it's not being imported. It's like someone's like, I like this. I'm going to start my own. I'm going to
put my own spin on it.
What if it's like that, but like a little funky?
Yeah. It's like the Taco Bell of fascism.
Sure.
When an American was like, this is cool. What if I make it terrible and easily spreadable?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, like, in this scenario, the original taco is like a pile of shit as well.
The original taco is massacring millions.
Yeah.
Not a great taco.
Not a great thing to take inspiration from.
It's a botulism taco. Yeah.
Tacoism? No.
Taco Bell, we are looking for someone else to plug for no money.
Yes, please.
So, if you want us to stop making references to botulism in your products,
Give us some double
You
crunch
better
shrimp
hurry, because
supremes.
we're going to do it a lot more.
yeah, we will. So Pelley knew the chief marketing lever he had to pull to sell his brand of Yankee Doodle fascism was fear of Marxism.
That was nice.
Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you.
Finally. I was
Yeah.
like, when are we going to talk about Marxism?
Well,
Cultural
we're going to
Marxism?
talk about cultural Marxism right now. I found a copy of one of their recruiting pamphlets, The Reds Are Upon Us.
Yes.
It's a guide for how sponsors of the Silver Shirt movement can create new fascist cells within the United States. So it was meant to be read out to groups of people to convert them. And this will be on our site if you've been like, I could stand to read some like 1930s honest American fascism propaganda.
Just for pleasure.
Just for fun.
I was going to do some canvassing, but maybe I'll canvass about this.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll take this literature
It's,
around.
it's what I did instead of write Christmas cards this year.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, good use of time. So it's actually really cleverly organized. It starts off by harping on the dangers of communism, but then a couple of pages in, it portrays communism as a fundamentally different from not capitalism or from Americans, but Gentiles. So it starts just talking about communism, and then it introduces the idea that communism is something fundamentally opposed to being a Gentile. So it makes that clever little shift before it starts talking about Jewish people in any way.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's a quote from the pamphlet. The Gentile says to himself, there are by known public count less than 100 registered communists right here in my own city. Why should I get excited about a number so silly? That is precisely why the Communist Party is out in the open, to make the average Gentile think there is really nothing to get excited about. Now the pamphlet continues to state that the real work of communism is promoted in ways, quote, gullible Christian Americans won't recognize. According to the Silver Legion, communism is not a small movement in the U.S. at all. Quote, Chief Pelley's personal estimate is that there are something like 22 million, or 1/5 of our whole population. It continues, after researching the matter for 10 or more years, he finds that first of all, we must take our total Jewish population into account. Our Jewish population constitutes the main backbone of communism, secretly or in the open.
My goodness.
Does it make you feel better to know he doesn't think that all Jewish people are fundamentally communists? He just thinks that they are required by their religion to do whatever their rabbi says, and all rabbis are communists.
You know, it doesn't make me feel
It doesn't,
better.
really.
Actually, I appreciate the rephrasing, but, you know, it still smells fashy.
It's a nice attempt. I agree. It doesn't make me feel super great.
It's putting a bow on the fascism a little bit. Yeah.
You get a taco,
Yeah.
and it's based on shit,
Yeah.
and you put a bow on
Yeah.
it. And that bow is made of shit.
Maybe the bow is made of shit. Maybe it's really just a pile of shit on top of an
Yeah.
aisle.
Maybe,
Well, it's
yeah.
a shit bow.
A dog that ate a bow and then pooped it out.
That's exactly what it
That's
is. So
exactly what
it
it
is
is.
partially intact. but
There's a
it's-
bow there.
It's covered in digested food stuff,
Yeah.
though, and
But
bacteria.
It's also spray painted silver. So, yeah.
Well, it is the silver shirts.
Exactly.
Oh, what a fun
we have fun, don't we?
history's a hoot and a holler.
Dislike.
So people who've spent some time reading their Hitler will notice that this is, a pretty similar thought process to what led him to invade the USSR, the idea that Bolshevism and Judaism are like inherently tied together. That kind of thinking found a warm home in parts of the United States. Pelley was most popular in the Pacific Northwest, particularly Washington and Oregon, and the Midwest. Pelley said he had 50,000 followers within a few months of starting the Silver Shirts. This is almost certainly an exaggeration, but it's likely the organization had about 15,000 members at any point in time during its height.
Okay.
So not tiny, but not giant in the
No,
context
sure.
of the whole country. In 1937, the Nazi Party's World Service sent Hitler a memo informing him that Pelley had risen to become one of the, quote, national men of American politics and one of the first native fascists in the country. It was noted that his movement might even be a better way to gain U.S. support for Nazi policies than the Bund. The Nazis pushed a little bit of money Pelley's way. It's possible that Hitler's house up in the Pacific Palisades, that like Nazi compound that is a graffiti sanctuary now, beautiful hiking, that was the Silver Shirts. They're the guys who bought that.
Oh, it was?
And it's very possible, although not confirmed, that was bought with money that was sent by the German Nazi Party. We don't know. It was registered in the name of someone who probably didn't exist. Like it's a big mess.
Yeah.
I forgot that that's out there.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful hike. Check out the house that this American fascist built. It has a 20,000-gallon fuel tank. I wonder what they were planning for.
Interesting.
Yep, that's right. I
structure
remember
to
that.
have.
Really neat. Yeah. Huh. Okay, so when we get back, we're going to talk about how talk radio helped inculcate fascism in America
Oh, this is exciting.
80-something years ago. But before we do that, we should talk about products and services.
Oh, yes.
I would like those.
Yeah,
Products and services.
both of them.
For period protection you can put on and forget about, nothing beats Knix leak-proof underwear. North America's #1 leak-proof underwear brand. Let's face it, life can be unpredictable, but your leak-proof underwear shouldn't be. That's why millions of people choose Knix. For periods, for light leaks, for everyday freshness. Knix undies are super comfy, super absorbent, and made to handle whatever your day throws at you. Day 2 of your period? Covered. Your daily run? No problem. That big sneeze? You know the one. Yep, we've got you. And with styles like bikinis, boy shorts, thongs, and high-rise, plus sizes from extra small to 4XL, Knix makes it easy to find your perfect fit. Say goodbye to stress and leaks, and say hello to undies that work just as hard as you do, no matter the leak. Find the style and level of protection you want at Knix.com and use code FLOW15 for 15% off. That's KNIX.com, code FLOW15 for 15% off. Knix, for your leaks, for your life.
Support for the show comes from Public, the investing platform for those who take it seriously. On Public, you can build a multi-asset portfolio of stocks, bonds, options, crypto, and now generated assets, which allow you to turn any idea into an investable index with AI. It all starts with your prompt. From renewable energy companies with high free cash flow to semiconductor suppliers growing revenue over 20% year over year, you can literally type any prompt and put the AI to work. It screens thousands of stocks, builds a one-of-a-kind index, and lets you backtest it against the S&P 500. Then you can invest in a few clicks. Generated assets are like ETFs with infinite possibilities, completely customizable and based on your thesis, not someone else's. Go to public.com/podcast and earn an uncapped 1% bonus when you transfer your portfolio. That's public.com/podcast. Paid for by Public Investing. Brokerage services by Open to the Public Investing Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services by Public Advisors LLC, SEC registered advisor. Generated assets is an interactive analysis tool. Output is for informational purposes only and is not an investment recommendation or advice. Complete disclosures available at public.com/disclosures.
Life gets messy. Spills, stains, pet accidents, and kid chaos. But with Anabay, cleaning up is easy. Our sofas are fully machine washable, inside and out, so you never have to stress about messes again. Made with liquid and stain-resistant fabrics, that means fewer stains and more peace of mind. Designed for real life, our sofas feature changeable fabric covers, allowing you to refresh your style anytime. Need flexibility? Our modular design lets you rearrange your sofa effortlessly. Perfect for cozy apartments or spacious homes. Plus, they're earth-friendly and built to last. That's why over 200,000 happy customers have made the switch. Upgrade your space today. Sofas start at just $699. Visit washablesofas.com now and bring home a sofa made for life. That's washablesofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
Pro drivers live for race day, but for small business owners, every day is race day. That's why going pro with Lenovo Pro matters. One-on-one advice, IT solutions, and customized hardware powered by Intel Core Ultra processors keep your business on the right track. Business goes pro with Lenovo Pro. Sign up for free at lenovo.com/pro.
Lenovo.
And we're back, and I just want to shame our producer, Sophie, for throwing out a couple of mini pizza bagels.
Just because they weren't defrosted.
Just because they weren't defrosted. Tossed out a salad recently. Shameful. Shameful.
We're going to food waste shame you.
You know what
Yes.
defrosts
And
things?
if you're a
Time.
listener at home, throw some food in the trash, and you can feel more of what it's like to be in this room. Also have Lysol scrubbing wipes.
Yep.
The only scrubbing wipes on the table in front of us.
Some Star Magazine, some In Touch Magazine. This is
Just
audience interaction.
Advertising by default. Just whatever's around us are the products we sell.
Altoids are around here.
Yeah, Scotch tape.
Hi-O microphone stands. That's a concerning name for a microphone
It sure
stand to
is.
have.
Wow.
Every
'Cause
time I see it.
Microphones are kind of always sig heiling.
They
Yeah.
are saluting.
Is that why?
It bears looking
Is that
into
why?
why they are named Heil, and maybe you should put a picture of these stands up so the listeners know what we're talking about.
Shots fired at the company who provides our microphone stands. Okay, so yet another source of native Nazism, or at least fascism, in the United States was the famed radio priest, Father Charles Coughlin. Coughlin had been born in Canada in 1891 and wound up in America on assignment from the Catholic Church. He started his radio career in 1926, speaking out against a rash of cross burnings by the KKK. He was actually victimized himself by the Klan shortly after he moved to Michigan. His radio show proved riotously popular, and by 1931 he was probably the largest radio star in the world and maybe the largest radio star in history. At his peak, Coughlin was reaching roughly 29 million American listeners per broadcast. The only other broadcaster who's ever come close is Rush Limbaugh at 20 million.
Jeez.
So
Wow, so
Coughlin-
still.
Yeah, and there was 100 million Americans.
Right,
So
I was going to say,
about
like,
a
this is
third
like
of the
this
country.
is the 30s, right?
Yeah. A third of the country is
That's
listening
nuts.
to this guy.
That is nuts.
Like, again, he's probably the most popular any single radio personality has
Yeah.
ever been. Now, Coughlin started out angrily decrying the KKK and moved on to attacking the banks. As the Great Depression kicked off, he railed against both capitalist excess and godless communism. By 1931, the focus of most of his ire were the international bankers who'd started World War I. The term international bankers was, of course, seen by many as a synonym for the term Jews.
Could we put some parentheses around that?
They are. They're every time I can't type international bankers and not put parentheses around it. It just
Your computer does it automatically.
Yeah, it just
I
does
know what
it
you're
automatically.
talking about.
We know what's going on. That's the Clippy. Clippy just
Right,
knows.
Clippy.
Yeah.
I hear you have used...
Seems like you're dog whistling anti-Semitism.
Would you like to add some parentheses?
Would you like to add some parentheses?
Oh, Clippy. Oh, Clippy, no.
Clippy, why are you doing? Oh God!
Oh.
He just starts shouting 1488 all over my document.
Get the hell out of here.
Now, CBS wound up kicking Father Coughlin off the air after his Jew baiting got a little bit too hardcore.
Sure.
NBC refused to pick up his show, so Father Coughlin created the Radio League of the Little Flower, where for the cost of $1 a year, users could support Coughlin in his screaming at the people they hated. This allowed him to buy time on 11 and eventually 27 stations across the country. He was paying something like $250,000 a week to run his radio stations. That's how much money is coming into this fucking radio priest.
And
So they were
that's-
paying for it to be out everywhere. So
Everywhere.
like a little Patreon.
Yeah, like it is.
Right.
It is. It's exactly that.
He was
It's-
ahead of his time.
He was basically using Patreon to fund his radio show so that he could say what he wanted with no restrictions.
Wow.
And I'm going to give you one guess as to where he turns when there's no restrictions on him. It
Towards the
is-
light?
No. Like a pyre,
Oh,
maybe.
Oh, yeah, okay.
yes,
Or a
yes,
furnace.
like a
Yeah,
burning cross,
like a
kinda
burning
thing.
cross, or well,
Oh.
he was against the KKK.
I was gonna say, like that's not at least
Fascists can hate each other.
At least he was against the KKK.
Now, in 1932, Father Coughlin endorsed Franklin Delano Roosevelt at the DNC. He did this because he was essentially trying to push FDR to fix the Depression, and he was very vocal about this. He wanted FDR to fix the Depression by minting gold and silver coins in order to create inflation, which would reduce debt and unemployment. So Coughlin turned on FDR when he became president because FDR didn't do any of this. In 1934, the Treasury Department announced that Coughlin's secretary owned 500,000 ounces of silver and was the largest silver holder in the state of Michigan. The purchase of all this silver had been paid for, in part, by donations to the Radio League of the Little Flower. Some people allege that Coughlin's support of FDR was basically a scheme to make a shitload of money off of silver.
A lot of people are saying that, huh?
Also,
saying that.
weird how nothing has changed about radio.
My
Still
God.
all about selling gold and
It's just
silver.
selling gold. Like I'm waiting for you to be like, oh, and then he started selling brain pills to everybody. Like,
Hey, that's an innovation from Alex Jones, but
very proud
The brain
that he has
pills
spread that
specifically?
to putting sawdust in capsules and selling it to people
Yeah.
to fix their brains. That he is also poisoning at the same time.
but he's also
Sure,
giving
sure.
lead poisoning.
Yeah.
Well, that's how you keep them coming back.
It's that razor blade, both of which cut the customer
Exactly.
philosophy.
Yeah.
So whatever the case, by 1934, Coughlin was pissed at the Democrats and announced the start of his own political party, the National Union for Social Justice. Now, the NUSJ was open to people of all religions, as long as that religion was Christianity, and it called upon Americans to resist communism and socialism. Coughlin also urged the abolition of the Federal Reserve. Near the end of the year, during one of his wildly popular radio broadcasts, Coughlin announced that there was no longer any hope for capitalism or democracy in the United States of America.
It's the or democracy.
Or democracy.
That's just sneaking it in there.
What gets you?
Some sort of dictatorship might be preferable to the current conditions. Maybe. By the end of 1935, membership in Coughlin's union was somewhere between 1 and 8.5 million people. The radio priest teamed up with Kenneth Smith, a Midwestern preacher who'd worked with Huey Long and Francis Townsend, a political firebrand who wanted to solve the Depression by giving old people huge pensions that they would then be required to support every month. So he gets up with these other two populist politicians, and together their alliance is believed to be as good for as many as 20 million votes.
Okay.
They represent a lot of people.
Right.
So they begin to campaign around the country, laying the ground for a vast Union Party ticket in the 1936 elections. They had great early success, and now that he was addressing crowds of cheering supporters, Father Coughlin really turned up the anti-Semitism. I'm going to play a short segment from a speech he gave in Cleveland. Cleveland!
Oh, yes.
God, Cleveland.
Whenever something bad happens in American history, 1/4 of the time it'll be in Cleveland.
Land of the Cleve.
Land of burning rivers.
Cleveland. Everything terrible in America starts there. Or at least goes through Cleveland at some point.
It's like a body of water in flames is just like the perfect metaphor.
Here's a short segment from a speech in Cleveland.
We are Christian insofar as we believe in Christ's principle of love your neighbor as yourself.
So
and
far?
with that principle, I challenge every Jew in this nation to tell me that he does not believe in it.
What?
That was one sentence.
One hell of a sentence.
What?
Way to cancel
That was
out.
a sentence with an arc. There's a whole hero's journey in that
Completely cancels out the first part of the sentence.
Like you can see, like, oh, that's your low point. Where are you gonna go for the third
Oh,
act?
dear God.
Stunning orator, though.
Good voice.
I mean, he does have
He's
a...
got a good speaking.
You can see why people listen to that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a voice you can trust.
So unfortunately for the Union for Social Justice, but fortunately for the country and world, Coughlin and Smith were a couple of messy bitches who couldn't keep their shit together. Coughlin got jealous of the fact that Smith was a better public speaker than him and refused to share the stage at any events. Kenneth Smith went bugfuck nuts shortly thereafter, declared on stage that, quote, the lunatic fringe is about to take over the government, and then decided that the Union Party was too moderate for him, and now his goal was to seize control of the government. This happens in October of 1936. That was the October surprise.
There's always one, you know?
Yeah, it's not like a tape of admitting to like sexual assault. It's just I want to take over the.
I want to be the dictator.
You know, I've been talking about how democracy is bad. Well. Surprise.
About that.
I'm a fascist. The Union Party was resoundingly defeated in the election. Coughlin disbanded the party and announced his retirement from broadcasting. This lasted until January of the next year, when he said, in essence, okay, if y'all want me back that bad, I'll come back.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I had a lot of trouble deciding how to organize this episode. Bradley Hart, the author of Hitler's American Friends, separates Father Coughlin and the Silver Shirts and the Bund into different chapters. I made a decision to try to do all this chronologically because I think it's important to really get a sense for the pace at which fascism bubbled up in American politics. It cropped up all over the country in a bunch of different locations and among different sections of American society. And at this point in the story, there was fairly little convergence between the sundry fascist groups. So the Silver Shirts were active in the 1936 election as well. Pelley, their founder, had just recovered from a minor scandal. He'd basically defrauded shareholders in his book production company, Galahad Press, and used it to fund his fascist militia.
A fraud.
Yeah, shameless fraud.
Another strong American tradition.
He'd been indicted in North Carolina, arrested and convicted, but he was out of jail and back in politics by 1935. He announced to his thousands of followers that God had sent him a message, another economic crash was coming. He formed the Christian Party, essentially the political wing of the Silver Shirts, in order to rescue America from disaster. Now, President Roosevelt, according to Pelley, was a secret surprise Jew whose real name was Rosenfeld.
Oh, my God.
Alf Landon, the Republican candidate, was conspiring with FDR to destroy the Christian Party by hosting his campaign events in the same cities that Pelley was. Since the conspiracy against him was clearly so far-reaching and powerful, Pelley had to get creative in order to build support. I'm going to read a quote from Hitler's American Friends, and y'all are going to like this part. I want you all to think, there was a Proud Boy recently who was exposed as one of the violent people, I think, in the Portland rallies. Mm-hmm. And it might have been in New York. There were pictures of him with his, I guess, wife or girlfriend who was a black woman and their children.
He just started his trial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Got all clean shaven. And yeah.
So keep that in mind as I read this next point. One of his more bizarre ploys involved an effort to convert Native Americans to the silver shirt cause. Pelley's sudden interest in Native Americans stemmed from a supposed divine realization that the Bureau of Indian Affairs had been taken over by Bolsheviks. Native Americans were therefore natural allies for his political movement because they too were supposedly victims of the Jewish conspiracy Pelley saw everywhere. Among the many problems with this eccentric plan was the fact that Pelley did not actually know many Native Americans. His efforts to reach out by referring to himself as Chief Pelley of the Tribe of Silver and writing articles in prose that could have been lifted from stock characters of Hollywood westerns gained few supporters. But Pelley did succeed in getting one actual Native American supporter, a Portland attorney named Elwood Towner. Now, Towner was part Native American, but he saw a money-making opportunity in budding American fascism. He started calling himself Chief Redcloud and began touring Bund and silver shirt meetings across the West Coast. Thousands of people who probably wouldn't have shown up to a lecture on fascism showed up to see Chief Redcloud for the same reason certain white people today wear feather headdresses at music festivals. Here's how one attendee at a speech described Elwood. Dressed in full Indian costume, beautiful headdress of white, green, and lavender feathers, a Thunderbird design in the center of his headband with a swastika on each side, pants of buckskin trimmed with fringe and beads, a beaded vest and armbands beaded in swastika and Thunderbird design. I found a picture of the guy, and it is...
This is cringeworthy.
It is pretty special.
Oh, my goodness.
You can make out those swastikas on the top.
You sure can.
You sure can.
You don't even have to squint. Surrounding himself with frauds and charlatans.
Oh my God.
So I found a fun article on Chief Redcloud on the website Crosscut. They note that he was famous for calling FDR's New Deal the Jew Deal.
Of course. Why? It's right there.
It's right there. It's right in front of you.
So easy.
You're just leaving racism on the table.
It would have been a crime not to snatch that up.
Exactly. Thank you. Furthermore, quote, Towner also began preaching a false history of America, saying that George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Benjamin Franklin had been warned to keep Jews out of America, but were thwarted in getting that provision in the U.S. Constitution, a Native American-inspired document, he said, by none other than Alexander Hamilton. Towner lectures sometimes included readings from an infamously debunked tract embraced by violent anti-Semites even today, The Protocols of the Elders of Zion. Chief Redcloud claimed that the coming of Germans to the Americas had been, quote, glowingly prophesied by his ancestors. Jews were, quote, the gold worshippers who would corrupt the Aryan Indians and put them in concentration camps. He would often close a speech by saying, quote, our people admire Hitler for this reason, that he adopted for his symbol the swastika. It means prosperity, good luck, and Christian government. Hitler also adopted our salute, which means peace be unto you. Advance, friend.
So that's what these mic stands are saying.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Advance friend. Yeah.
Advance
Those
friend.
Gold worshippers. Unlike us, silver worshippers.
Yeah. And it's important to note that Chief Redcloud went around to all the different. He was at the Bund, he was with the silver shirts, he hung out at Italian fascist meetings, I think, and he made a lot of money during these years doing this. Like, this seems to have been a grift. I don't know, maybe he also believed all of this.
Yeah. I mean, half of it's usually a grift, right?
Yeah.
Like,
a lot of it is he's putting on a performance here.
His name is Elwood, and he was a lawyer before this.
And now he's Chief Redcloud.
And now he's Chief Redcloud.
Which isn't even a good name.
No, it's not.
Elwood.
Makes me think of the Reds. Commies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I don't trust this guy.
There you go. He might be a secret communist, which is the same thing as fascism, according to fascists today.
It's the same thing, and one's worse.
Who can keep track?
I do love it when you get the Nazis who will both simultaneously deny Nazi crimes and also point out the socialist part of
yes.
It's like, what is even the argument you're making?
It didn't happen. Also, they were communists.
My favorite thing now is also like, the Nazis were socialists. It's right there in the name, the healthcare and all that stuff. And the second the president says he's a nationalist, they're like, that's good.
It's not a bad thing.
That's the good part. The good part of the Nazis was the nationalist part.
Idiots.
If they just hadn't had that socialism.
It would have been fine.
Fun fact, they did kill all of the socialists. That was what the Night of Long Knives was.
Interesting fun fact there.
Fun fact that everyone should know but doesn't.
They hated Marxism and rejected the very idea of like class conflict.
Yeah. Oh, history.
Hierarchies and inequality.
We don't need to look too closely at history because history's boring.
And no one learns anything from it ever.
Why would you? Why would you want it not to happen again?
Yeah. It was such a ride the last time.
Right. Why would you want to?
But maybe this time it'll be different.
Mm-hmm. So in spite of Chief Redcloud's endorsement, Pelley's Christian Party did not do well in the 1936 elections. They only made it on the ballot in Washington state, and they didn't even rack up 2,000 votes in Washington. So the German-American Bund was, of course, also active in the 1936 election. They took a different tact than their other far-right compatriots. They did not create a political party, since they were explicitly not supposed to be a political party. They instead threw their support behind the party they saw as most being supportive of Nazi Germany. So in October of 1936, Fritz Kund announced a Bund command to all his members, ordering them to vote for Alf Landon, the Republican presidential candidate. He claimed that Landon's administration would have, quote, more favorable commercial relations with Germany. He also attacked Roosevelt's, quote, preference for the Jewish element and his placing of too many Jews in public office. Landon did not win. Sorry.
Well,
End of story.
End of story. You're dead and forgotten
and
now,
we
Alf
all
Landon.
lived happily ever after.
Yeah.
Oh,
things
but
were
he's
great.
got so many
So
more
the-
pages in his hand.
I do.
So the party that would have been most beneficial to
The Nazis.
The Nazis with the Republicans.
That's what the
That's
Nazis
interesting.
thought. That seems to be how the Nazis thought about this. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So the 1936 elections were kind of a defeat across the board for the American fascist movement, but the increased visibility they'd gotten in the press and through the speaking tours of people like Coughlin and Pelley and, of course, Chief Redcloud had made the country meant that as 1937 dawned, more Americans than ever were curious about and sympathetic towards fascism. A Gallup poll taken that year asked respondents whether they'd prefer to live under fascism or communism. 45% of Americans picked fascism. Yeah.
Idiots. Fucking
Dummies.
I feel like this is going to work out great for me.
Oh my gosh.
So we're going to get into what came next for fascism in America. But first, what comes next for ads on this
Keep it going.
podcast?
Yes, there it is.
For period protection you can put on and forget about, nothing beats Knix leak-proof underwear. North America's #1 leak-proof underwear brand. Let's face it, life can be unpredictable, but your leak-proof underwear shouldn't be. That's why millions of people choose Knix. For periods, for light leaks, for everyday freshness. Knix undies are super comfy, super absorbent, and made to handle whatever your day throws at you. Day 2 of your period? Covered. Your daily run? No problem. That big sneeze? You know the one. Yep, we've got you. And with styles like bikinis, boy shorts, thongs, and high-rise, plus sizes from extra small to 4XL, Knix makes it easy to find your perfect fit. Say goodbye to stress and leaks, and say hello to undies that work just as hard as you do, no matter the leak. Find the style and level of protection you want at Knix.com and use code FLOW15 for 15% off. That's KNIX.com, code FLOW15 for 15% off. Knix, for your leaks, for your life.
Support for the show comes from Public, the investing platform for those who take it seriously. On Public, you can build a multi-asset portfolio of stocks, bonds, options, crypto, and now generated assets, which allow you to turn any idea into an investable index with AI. It all starts with your prompt. From renewable energy companies with high free cash flow to semiconductor suppliers growing revenue over 20% year over year, you can literally type any prompt and put the AI to work. It screens thousands of stocks, builds a one-of-a-kind index, and lets you backtest it against the S&P 500. Then you can invest in a few clicks. Generated assets are like ETFs with infinite possibilities, completely customizable and based on your thesis, not someone else's. Go to public.com/podcast and earn an uncapped 1% bonus when you transfer your portfolio. That's public.com/podcast. Paid for by Public Investing. Brokerage services by Open to the Public Investing Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services by Public Advisors LLC, SEC registered advisor. Generated assets is an interactive analysis tool. Output is for informational purposes only and is not an investment recommendation or advice. Complete disclosures available at public.com/disclosures.
Tired of spills and stains on your sofa? Wash away your worries with Anabay. Anabay is the only designer sofa that's machine washable inside and out, starting at just $699. Plus, Anabay sofas are pet-friendly, stain-resistant, and feature changeable slip covers and modular pieces. Get up to 60% off site-wide with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Visit washablesofas.com to get yours now. That's washablesofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
There's no championship league for small business owners. But if there was, you'd be at the top of the standings. Because going pro with Lenovo Pro means you've got the winning formation. One-on-one advice, IT solutions, and customized hardware powered by Intel Core Ultra processors help you stay ahead of the competition. Business goes pro with Lenovo Pro. Sign up for free at lenovo.com/pro.
And we're back. We're back. We're talking about fascism.
But why?
Because it's not relevant to things happening today.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I'm tired of things being relevant to today.
No, that's just useless. So the late 30s was a time of great growth and increasing acceptance of fascism in America. The German-American Bund opened a network of summer camps in the United States. As an undercover reporter in the Bund, John C. Metcalf later testified, quote, "American boys and girls sing hymns to Der Fuhrer and to the Vaterland they have never seen. Their youthful feet goose-step in a march of racial and religious hatred. The minds and souls of these babes in the woods are a fertile field for the propaganda of the Bund."
The Hitler Youth thing, yeah.
This really bothers me, this part.
Yeah,
I really don't like his part.
Because that's one of the maybe not the most chilling thing about Nazi Germany, but it is chilling to me when I think about the indoctrination and what they did to these kids.
Yeah, it's the scariest part.
Yep.
Now, it's unclear how many total American children went through Bund training camps and received Nazi indoctrination. Bradley Hart, author of Hitler's American Friends, estimates around 7,200 per year. So that would have been 20 to 30,000 probably. The biggest camp, Siegfried, was located in New York and turned into something of a Nazi town right in the East Coast. There was a small neighborhood of houses, and the whole camp was owned collectively by the homeowners on the land. Quote, Adolf Hitler Street was a major thoroughfare, and the other streets were similarly named for Nazi bigwigs. Guests from Germany were frequently hosted at Siegfried, and during the summer, the OD trained there with rifles and other firearms. Promising members of the youth division from all over the country were also sent to Siegfried to further their education and training, making it effectively the center of Bund training operations nationwide. Major celebrations, such as the 4th of July celebrations that began this chapter, could attract tens of thousands of people from New York City to Siegfried's leafy surroundings. So, tens of thousands of Americans being like, I'm not on board with the Nazis, but I want to see their fireworks show.
And thousands of kids.
Yeah.
It's just like a community thing.
Yeah.
I bet all those little Nazis grew up to be adult Nazis and
I bet it didn't have any
procreated
impact.
children that are now running. Maybe not now, but
I bet we'll never have an episode where we talk about what some of the people who went to these summer camps went on to do.
I will not take that bet.
Now, on an interesting side note, the Nazi Homeowners Association that owned Siegfried continued to be a thing after the Bund collapsed at the outbreak of war. They even had rules about what races you couldn't be to live there. The Board of Homeowners had to sign off that any new buyers met their, quote, racial qualifications. You want to guess how long this went on? How long this Nazi Homeowners Association
I don't know that I do want to guess.
Decades.
A lawsuit found it in violation of the Fair Housing Act in 2015.
Nice. Hell yes. That
is way past what I thought you were going to say. I was prepared to be shocked at 1995 or
I know,
something.
right? 2015.
Goodness.
That's the good stuff right there.
That's the
good bad stuff.
That's the good bad stuff.
Wow.
Now, I bet you're all wondering just what the fuck went on in America's Nazi summer camps. Good news! Charles Bukowski went to one as a kid and wrote extensively about the experience. He became a member of the Bund in 1938 at age 18 and remained one until the outbreak of war in 1941. Later in life, he wrote a novel, Ham on Rye, where he basically fictionalized his real experiences as a young Nazi and explains why the movement was so compelling to him. Bukowski was born in Germany, so he was a first-generation German-American immigrant. Quote, I had no freedom, I had nothing. With Hitler around, maybe I'd get a piece of ass now and then and more than $1 a week allowance. As far as I could rationalize, I had nothing to protect. Having been born in Germany, there was a natural loyalty, and I didn't like to see the whole German nation, the people, depicted everywhere as monsters and idiots. In the movie theaters, they sped up the newsreels to make Hitler and Mussolini look like frenetic madmen. Also, with all the instructors being anti-German, I found it personally impossible to simply agree with them. Out of sheer alienation and a natural contrariness, I decided to align myself against their point of view.
That's how it happens.
That's exactly it.
I mean, that's actually very well said.
Yeah, because he's a great artist who later...
and self-reflective and really on the ball in terms of like that is exactly
that's
it.
That's 1,000%.
A piece of ass, and
just like
but that feeling,
just like
of,
stamp it 2016. Like that's.
I'm tired of you telling me that my people are bad. And
Yeah, which is a little bit fair. There was unfair demonization of the Germans during World War I. They weren't really any worse than any of the other sides. Everyone was garbage in World War I. It was a garbage war.
Right.
But
world wars in general aren't like...
Nobody comes across looking great.
Yeah.
In a worldwide war.
Where we decide civilians and civilian cities are acceptable targets.
Yeah.
Universally. Nobody's the great guy.
Right.
Although it's just really easy to look good next to the Nazis.
It really is.
It
really
is. Yeah.
Super easy.
Natural contrarian.
Yeah.
That's... That is...
Bukowski also gives a typically blunt rundown of one of their meetings. Quote, we went down into a cellar. They had this great big American flag there. We all stood up to pledge allegiance to the flag. Then we started talking about the communist menace.
Yeah.
So I want to note that I learned all about this from a UC Boulder undergraduate honors thesis by Patrick Rodriguez. So thank you, Patrick.
Thanks,
I probably
Patrick.
wouldn't have found this otherwise, and it's very useful. He also describes how the armed wing of the Bund, the OD, was formed and trained into something approaching a militia, even while the Bund continued to maintain a banal, friendly exterior. Quote, composing roughly 10% of the Bund's membership, the OD, despite its name, which translates into armed guard, was an unarmed ceremonial organization reserved for ambitious young men between the ages of 18 and 25. Because it offered close proximity to the Bundesführer, full access to the Bund's recreational facilities, such as Camp Siegfried in upstate New York, and the promise of a steady wage, young men flocked to the OD for support. For less athletic individuals, the Bund offered other possibilities for economic advancement. The Bund often used its propaganda machinery to promote the small businesses of pro-German, pro-American members. Such was the case with Café Hindenburg, a cocktail lounge in Manhattan named after Paul von Hindenburg. So, this is a complicated situation. There are other reasons at this point other than just being an inherent monster that people support these organizations.
Right.
Like Bukowski grew up like...
Well, I think that's important when you're looking at the rise of any of these movements and Nazi Germany. It's not a lot of it because, we hate Jews. It's because we are afraid and we don't know what to do next, and we really are in kind of dire straits, and this is a different answer.
Everything is fucked up and confusing.
Exactly.
And no one knows what's going to happen
and
next.
that's why those are the environments where these things happen.
Yeah.
That's literally the birth of American fascism, is that Lawrence Dennis being like, capitalism seems like it's on its way out. Something's got to replace it.
The Great Depression.
Yeah.
Right. Everyone's looking for answers, and sometimes grifters might take advantage of that.
Yeah.
They might.
What's your issue with Chief Redcloud, Cody?
Nothing. He sounds trustworthy.
I feel like he's the hero of this episode.
You feel like that, but just sit tight.
just hold on. So Hitler actually cut off funding to the German-American Bund in 1938. Some of that probably had to do with the fact that John Metcalfe, that undercover reporter, started publishing his articles from the inside of the Bund in 1937. There's a lot to talk about. Metcalfe's a real hero, and like one of these journalists who gets inside this organization and like both writes good articles about it, but also provides the government with information about crimes that they're committing. He's a real cool guy. Yeah. Big fan of John Metcalfe.
Yeah, different kind of podcast.
Different kind of podcast. Behind the guys who weren't best. Yeah.
Spin-off.
So it seems like the funding to the Bund
in front of the bastards with fists.
Punching the bastards.
Punching the bastards.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now, it seems like the Bund's funding was cut off because the Fuhrer was, again, worried about upsetting U.S. public opinion. If so, that's actually more evidence for how out of touch Hitler was with the United States. In June of 1938, Gallup asked Americans which was worse, fascism or communism. Nearly half of respondents didn't answer. 32% said communism, just 23% found fascism more dangerous. Now, Ernst Hanfstaengl, a.k.a. Putzi, was a good friend of Hitler's and an American. For some reference, Hitler was in love with his wife for a while, and she stopped him from killing himself after he fucked up the Munich beer hall putsch. He had a weird crush on her. Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
I mean...
No,
it's...
That's mean.
I'm not going to bag on Helena. I'm going to bag on Putzi.
Sure.
I mean, they all were probably pretty fashy.
I mean, right?
None of them are great people. Putzi was later interviewed by the U.S. government about Hitler because he had a falling out. He wasn't around for the whole World War II thing.
That whole thing.
That old chestnut. Hanfstaengl said that Hitler had a, quote, wildly superficial understanding of American culture. I never really succeeded in bringing home the importance of America as an integral factor in European politics to Hitler. He wanted to hear all about the skyscrapers and was fascinated by details of technical progress, but failed utterly to draw logical conclusions from the information. Now, Hitler did at one point express interest in making a pact with the Ku Klux Klan. So he never really seemed all that motivated to push fascism in America. Yeah. But in 1938, American fascism seemed to be doing pretty well without Hitler's help. Pelley published a manual.
Yeah, take that, Hitler.
Yeah, take that, Hitler. Yeah.
We don't need you.
You never believed in us. In 1938, Pelley published a manual, A Million Silver Shirts by 1939, and announced that each state needed to sign up 100 new fascists every day. The Silver Shirts launched a major recruitment drive, ixnaying the anti-Semitism and really hammering on communism. One Washington state fascist wrote that year to a critic, The only reason we make open opposition to the Jews is because they are the ones who support communism, which is atheism, and are out to destroy Christianity. We are not Jew haters as reported. We are only against their system. I do not hate a single Jew, but I do feel sorry for them. I do not hate a single person on this earth, including all Jews.
But I do feel sorry for them.
You really talked about the Jews a lot there, buddy.
Yeah. For a guy who's not an anti-Semite, you really dropped.
Sure are.
Really emphasized
Your
that.
focus seems to be on...
They're Jewish and they're atheists.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we're
all communists.
Yeah.
All communists are
atheist Jews.
Yeah.
Who listen unfailingly to their rabbi because they're atheists.
Yes. I get it.
Totally logically consistent.
Honestly, checks out.
Yeah, really seems to hold together tight. So the mild rhetoric was in direct contrast to their behavior. Pelley, the chief, traveled with a 40-man bodyguard, all of whom carried pistols openly and basically told law enforcement in small towns, what are you going to do about it? Also in 1938, a silver-shirt officer told a Milwaukee reporter that all members of the Legion had been advised to buy sawed-off shotguns and 2,000 rounds of ammo in order to protect, quote, white Christian America. Yeah. So President Roosevelt was obviously not super happy with the violent Nazi rhetoric and the militias.
One would hope. Yeah.
One would hope. He'd have his finger on that button. He was particularly concerned with Pelley and asked the DOJ if it would be possible to sue him for libel. They weren't able to do that initially, but this does start a chain of reactions that leads to prosecutions for Pelley and the gradual end of the silver shirts. They don't wind up taking America by storm. But there were plenty of other American fascists, don't you worry. One of them was John Winrod. John Winrod was also a huge fan of the protocols of the Elders of Zion and, of course, of Father Coughlin. And when Father Coughlin's Union Party fell apart in 1936, Winrod decided to try and pick up the pieces. In 1938, one of Kansas's Senate seats was open, and Winrod decided the Democratic incumbent looked vulnerable. John Winrod's plan was to win election in 1938 and then ride the surely forming red wave into the Republican nomination for the 1940 presidential election. He started a radio show and bought time on stations all over the country, mostly lamenting the state of the economy and making veiled references to Jews. Quote, "Perhaps you have thought the United States Congress controls the nation's money. This most decidedly is not the case."
Who decided that?
I'll give you one guess and 3 letters.
No.
So, Winrod attacked Roosevelt for going after the fascist powers without equally criticizing the Soviet Union. Winrod harangued voters twice a day on the air, and he gave speeches that attracted audiences of thousands. He was only defeated in Kansas because the state Republican Party united against him and convinced former Governor Clyde Reed to run in opposition. The Republicans successfully opposed him and voted not fascist into office. Winrod still received 53,000 votes.
Wow.
But hey, the Republican Party, unlike the episode that will have run like the week before this, where they failed in like 3 states to stop fascists, they have their act together in this situation.
Right, they're aware and they're not cool with it.
They're like, boy, we don't
that's
want
something.
Yeah, we don't want people to mistake conservatism for fascism, so we should oppose fascists.
Yeah. That's so refreshing.
What if we give it a few decades?
If only 2018 Republicans would take a leaf out of 1938 Republicans. So, Father Coughlin was also active in 1938. In January of that year, he founded the Christian Front, a nationwide organization dedicated to fighting communism. Jews were forbidden from joining. Members were encouraged to arm themselves and regularly train at gun ranges. The Christian Front proved popular with the same sort of people who become Proud Boys today. Soon, mobs of them were beating up Jews on the street in various cities. Some even called themselves Father Coughlin's Brown Shirts. It became known that during rallies where Father Coughlin would speak, the Christian Front members would fight with anti-fascist protesters. Because again,
get out of here, man.
Nothing ever changes in all of history. Everything is the same. So,
I hate this.
It's pretty wild.
It is.
It's just the same thing.
And it's like, it's just all stuff like, you see this parallel, but then just like every single thing he's saying.
It's a little on the nose.
It's so on the nose.
It's like a guy covered in pro-Trump propaganda stickers mailing bombs to all the people Trump hates.
It is like
that. That would never happen.
On the nose.
That sounds unbelievable.
And yet.
In February 1939, Fritz Kuhn held an event that would prove to be the apex of the German-American Bund's power. 22,000 Bundists and sympathetic listeners showed up at Madison Square Garden for a gigantic America-themed Nazi rally. It was billed as a mass demonstration for true Americanism and a celebration of George Washington's birthday. In the book Swastika Nation, Arnie Bernstein writes, quote, The unprecedented event was really intended to be the German-American Bund's apotheosis, proof positive to America and the world, as well as Berlin, that the American Nazis were here to stay. The rally was to be Kuhn's shining moment, an elaborate pageant and vivid showcase of all he had built in 3 years. Kuhn's dream of a swastika nation would be on display for the whole world, right in the heart of what Berlin press called the Semitized metropolis of New York.
Oh.
Nearly 100,000 counter-protesters also showed up. You might...
Wait, say that number again?
100,000.
Wow.
Almost. You might call them anti-fascists.
One would call that.
What if I wanted Antifa?
What if I wanted to shorten that word?
That might be a good way to do it.
It's easier way to
or
say
antif. We'll figure it out. Yeah.
Opposite of. Okay.
1,700 police officers were deployed to keep the Nazis safe. At the time, this was the largest show of force in NYPD history. There is quite a lot of video of this rally, and it is fucking chilling. It's been cut into a short documentary called A Night at the Garden, which you can watch online. The rally stage has a full marching band and a giant painting of George Washington that honestly looks exactly like a fucking screen grab from a BioShock game. Like, it is that on the nose. It, in addition, includes a man I can only describe as Sig Heiling Ted Cruz. Because fucking look at that.
You shared this the other day. I saw this.
Look
Unbelievable.
At that shit. Look at that shit.
What?
That's fucking Nazi Ted Cruz. Mm-hmm. I'll put that picture up too. Like, it's uncanny.
Yeah.
It's really uncanny.
No. That's got to be a relation.
It's a really close look, right?
It's really close.
It all checks out.
Yeah. So the rally opened with the Pledge of Allegiance, slightly Nazified, and I think you guys should hear this.
Okay.
All right. If I have to.
You do. Captive audience.
I pledge allegiance to mine
Kampf. I recommend watching the documentary and seeing this because, like, the visuals of this are pretty goddamn striking.
I pledge undivided allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's like a fucking screen grab from a bad alternate history movie.
Yeah. I pledge. What did they say? I pledge undivided allegiance.
Yeah.
Was like, wow, that's a
wrinkle on that.
Yeah.
So, Fritz Kuhn took the stage next and began to deliver a speech, at which point a Jewish-American protester who worked as a janitor in Madison Square Garden rushed onto the stage and was horribly beaten and stripped mostly naked by the Nazis. He had to be rescued by the NYPD. The whole moment was actually filmed, and we are going to watch it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
We are actively fighting for under our charter. First, a social just white Gentile ruled United States. Second, Gentile controlled labor union free from Jewish Moscow directed domination.
Yeah. That is 22,000 people cheering the beating of a man.
Oh, that's hard to watch.
Yeah, it's rough. It's real rough. The good news is that this rally at Madison Square Garden would prove to be the high water mark for the German-American Bund, but not, it turned out, for fascism in America. When we come back in part 2, we're going to talk about the fall of Fritz Kuhn, one potential candidate for American Führer, and the rise of a second candidate, Charles Lindbergh. So,
That was so upsetting.
It is
really
chilling.
It really makes you feel like wanting to die. It's bad. It's real bad.
And
Oh
like,
my God.
so not far off.
No.
And like knowing who's in charge and like what he wants and like what he's like into and what he accepts.
Yeah.
And like I hate that.
One of the things that is interesting to me. We will save the explicitly political stuff for the end of part 2. But this book, Hitler's American Friends, is the second book that I've talked about heavily on this podcast this year, the first being The Death of Democracy, both of which are written by scholars and historians who focus on the history of the Third Reich and the end of the Weimar Republic. Multiple of them now have all been like, I should really need to put out a book that specifically addresses the things that are happening now
Right.
that happened back, because it's so similar.
Wait, they're putting books out now?
Yeah, this book was written,
Yeah.
Hitler's American Friends was written in reaction to the 2016 election.
Really?
So was The Death of Democracy.
Really?
Yeah.
They did those quick.
They put them out because they were like, oh my God, this is the thing I've studied my entire life, and it
Man.
seems to be happening again.
That's the thing that we don't talk about enough.
Or we do talk about it. But
Well, we talk about
it, but people don't talk about it. Because in many ways, it's like, yeah, there are similarities.
Yeah.
There are things that hopefully aren't going to happen. But there are things that have happened that didn't happen. Like,
Yeah.
there are things that this is further along
Yeah.
than ever before here, at least.
Yeah. When people were calling George W. Bush a Nazi or Hitler, it was left-wing protesters, but it was not academics. It was not
Right.
people who had specifically spent their life studying this period in history.
Right.
They're all coming out now. You don't find any being like, no, the comparisons to fascism and Nazism are overblown. It's like, they're all like, no, this is really concerning.
Every single one of them.
Every single one of them.
And it's always people who study the part before the stuff that everyone
before
like,
all of the killing.
right.
Yeah.
And like every single person is like, but it's like if he were a fascist, could you say he was a fascist? Well, that's the second half.
Yeah.
Like we're not in the
Right.
second half.
We're not
yet.
in part
That's, like,
two yet.
That's what it's so maddening. And
like- yeah.
self-proclaimed like intellectuals and like thought leaders who like just dismiss it outright. When like, no, literally people who study this for a living are talking about it.
And the guy who came up with Godwin's law has specifically said, like, no, you
Do
it. Do it.
This is the time.
This is the time.
And like, I didn't realize that both of those books were.
They're not
written-
the only ones written in direct reaction to the current things happening in America by scholars of that, but they're the two we've talked about this year.
And even that I forget his name came out and was like talking about the similarity between Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
And just like, yeah, he's the guy.
Yeah,
who,
it might have been Kurt von Schleicher, one of the
Hindenburg.
guys. To Hindenburg, right.
yeah. And just like, he literally used the phrase "the gravedigger of democracy."
Yeah.
Because he spent his entire career obsessed with money and power and doing his best to suppress democracy and go along with whoever gives him more power to do the things he wants.
We have failed to not talk about politics at the end of this. But we're going to get into more Nazis next time on Thursday. And there's going to be some fun stuff in this one.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's going to be really neat. No more Chief Redcloud, tragically. But some really
He's played
fun
his
stuff.
part, you know.
He sure did. And there is still a surprise reveal ahead. So we're
Am I excited?
We're
Am I
gonna
not
talk
excited?
more about Lawrence Dennis, founder of American Fascism. Turns out there's a twist.
What a treat.
All right, pluggables, plug.
Yeah, Patreon.com/some more news, Twitter.com/some more news,
YouTube.com.
YouTube.com. Search for some more news for all of the videos that we talk about this kind of stuff and other stuff.
And check out our podcast, Even More News.
Even More
on all the
News.
podcast places.
Dr. Mr. Cody is my Twitter handle. It's my personal thing.
Mine's Katy Stoll. Katy with a Y.
Yeah.
Like Katy Perry.
Like Katy Perry. I'm Robert Evans, like the guy who produced Godfather. You can find me on Twitter at I Write Okay. You can find this podcast on the internet at BehindTheBastards.com. You can find us on TeePublic, Behind the Bastards. Buy some T-shirts.
I love my tees.
I will use the money to, I don't know, sometimes I watch a video about a Nazi rally in Madison Square Garden and I need to buy beer. That's what you can help with if you enjoy this podcast.
Would you call
by
that
buying some T-shirts.
Research adjacent?
I would. I do write it off on my taxes.
Okay,
That
good.
is sanity liquor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Medication.
Medication. Journalism medication.
Yes.
Yeah. You can find this website on the internet at BehindTheBastards.com, where you will find, among other things, Nazi Ted Cruz. from
Oh my God,
1930. It's uncanny. It's really surreal.
It's beautiful. He's a
You guys are
beautiful
going to
man.
love it.
All right. This has been the podcast. I have been Robert Evans, and once more, I love about 40% of you.
A BetterHelp ad. We get it. February is full of flowers, candy, and, of course, lots of talk about relationships. It can feel like everyone else has it all together in their love lives. But the truth is, we're all still figuring it out. Whether you're working on your marriage, navigating the dating apps, or prioritizing staying single, no matter where you are, you're right on time. Therapy can help you find your way, and take some of the pressure off yourself so you can determine what you want, what feels heavy, and how you can feel lighter. Just a little bit of outside perspective from a professional can lead to new understanding and a lot of progress. So the next time you're feeling iffy about your love life, try therapy with BetterHelp and see where it takes you. And remember, you're right on time. Visit BetterHelp.com for 10% off. That's BetterHelp.com.
Tired of spills and stains on your sofa? Wash away your worries with Anabay. Anabay is the only machine-washable sofa inside and out, where designer quality meets budget-friendly prices. That's right, sofas start at just $699. Enjoy a no-risk experience with pet-friendly, stain-resistant, and changeable slip covers made with performance fabric. Experience cloud-like comfort with high-resilience foam that's hypoallergenic and never needs fluffing. The sturdy steel frame ensures longevity, and the modular pieces can be rearranged anytime. Shop WashableSofas.com for up to 60% off site-wide, backed by a 30-day satisfaction guarantee. If you're not absolutely in love, send it back for a full refund. No return shipping or restocking fees. Every penny back. Upgrade now at WashableSofas.com. Offers are subject to change, and certain restrictions may apply.
Pro drivers live for race day, but for small business owners, every day is race day. That's why going pro with Lenovo Pro matters. One-on-one advice, IT solutions, and customized hardware powered by Intel Core Ultra processors keep your business on the right track. Business goes pro with Lenovo Pro. Sign up for free at lenovo.com/pro.
Lenovo.
Flag football is exploding, and iFlag is leading the way. As the Guinness World Record holder, iFlag hosts premier flag football tournaments nationwide for boys, girls, high school girls, and adults. From first-time players to elite competitors, iFlag delivers top-level competition, unforgettable experiences, and a community built around the game. Ready to be part of it? Join the movement. Find your tournament and learn more at iflag.org. That's iflag.org.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.